a year ago, when the incident at Appiatse happened, was to make sure he came down from America, even though he had extensive engagement in the United States of America, to be able to solidarize as well as sympathize with the victims of the Appiatse disaster. And if you particularly know Appiatse, you know that you're from Takwa, you get to Bogoso, then you get to Manso, and subsequently that's the road. It heads into Asankrigwa, and some of those areas where we have legal mining and illegal mining taking place. Even on compounds, people could just dig pits and go underground, all in search of the yellow material. We're talking gold. But since then, we're all asking the question whether victims of Appiatse, as well as its surrounding areas where the explosion affected, have moved on, but also looking at how efforts so far by government, led by the Lands Ministry and the Minister Samuel Abujinapo, have been very far-reaching. We do know that a number of actions have so far been undertaken. And Bella, the good thing is that at least we know that some structures are on the ground to get the buildings ready for these victims who lost their structures within the period.
Yes,
and that's a good thing.
I absolutely agree. And just to reiterate, 106 structures have started. We're told some are at the foundation stages, some are also at the lintel stages. They are looking to do about 124 by June and hand them over to the people in the community. We do hope that they work speedily, because a whole year of not having your own space, not having a home, that will be very uncomfortable, especially if you have a family, you have kids. And I remember that at the time when they were in the makeshift structures, the men were complaining that they were not able to have intercourse with their wives. And for them, that was also a problem, because clearly they're married and it is one of their requirements, if I may say. So they were worried about that. That was on the lighter side. I mean, a few of us joked about it, but that's their lives. So, I mean,
Yeah,
do they need their own space? Yes, they do. The children especially need schools. They need hospitals. And I hope that we can move faster than we're moving now to provide these amenities for these people. That's where we lack a lot of times, because even in other parts of the country where we have everything going on, we still barely have adequate facilities to cater to our needs, our health needs, our educational needs. Even the roads are that bad. So I really do hope that they can help, and that's why I'm appealing to as many people as possible. If you can also chip in some support. I know a lot of people have contributed, companies as well have contributed, but we're calling on you, maybe if you can visit the area or if you can get in touch with other people to also support the project. They would be very grateful.
And yeah, so just an update from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. So Mr. Abujinapo, MP, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, is updating us that the Appiatse, the reconstruction of the Appiatse community in the Pristiahuni Valley Municipal Assembly is on schedule, and the first phase, which consists of the construction of the core community, would be completed by the end of this year. Now, this was disclosed on Wednesday, 4th January 2023, after the minister led a delegation from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and the Appiatse Reconstruction Implementation Committee to inspect the progress of the work in the community. So just to add on to what you're saying, so hopefully by the end of this year, the first phase of the project will be completed. And I really do hope that we stick according to schedule. That's all that I am praying for. We'll still keep an eye on it and then bring you all the updates as the year also moves along.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now we have to get to our correspondent who has very much been on the subject, also speaking to the victims, going to the communities, and Pakwesi Peters, Pakojo Clarence Peters is on the line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Roland.
Yeah, great. Now, we do know that your interaction with the communities as well as the victims have given us a lot of vivid description of how they feel. But what will be the latest from there, and what have been some of the plights they have to deal with in the course of the last 12 months?
Yeah, Roland, the latest is that the residents are all anticipating the total completion of the ongoing structure, so they can move from the resettlement site and reside in their own structure being put up for them. again, from the interaction I've been having with them, they were telling me they are so traumatized from here on, and that they would have wished that more aid will come to them, as well as some psychological teachings, maybe for them to recover from the trauma they are going through. Yesterday, for instance, it wasn't easy for the residents, especially during the vigil night, as they remembered their family who departed through the unfortunate incident. One of the people I spoke to was 49-year-old Grace Carter, who lost a son, Emmanuel Crane, through the disaster. As we speak, Emmanuel left behind a wife and 3 children, and it's up to the widow to cater for the daughter-in-law as well as the grandchildren. And it's not easy for them. They are still at the relief camp. It's not easy for them. So they are still calling on government and that matter, the public to come to their aid and support them so we can, get some insight from whatever they are going through. This morning, we'll be going to the very spot where the unfortunate incident took place around 10 a.m., where traditional and Christian prayers will be offered for the souls of the departed. From there, there will be a lecture for the residents on safety and other things from authorities who will be around, from the fire, police, and other people who are expected to come here. Then from there, we will proceed to the cemetery where these people who passed on were buried. Then the family will be allowed to stay on their tomb. So that is the activity lineup to end the commemoration of the 1-year commemoration.
But there's a comprehensive conversation about how the effort of the ministry has been able to ameliorate or come to the aid of the victims. And we also know that the buildings are being done side by side. How is that shaping up so far?
Yeah, Roland, the structure is about 31% complete. Yesterday we were at the site. And the challenge is that the donation isn't coming in as we started initially. So I spoke to the NADMO officer yesterday, and he confirmed to me that things are a little bit difficult for them. Aside that, they are also facing some challenges from the residents themselves. There is some conflict of interest among the residents. They are alleging that all the donation that has been brought in hasn't gotten to them. So the NADMO officer was even telling me at times they feel they somehow regret, and they are thinking of maybe leaving things for the people for them to take over. But as their job describes, they still have to be around to support them. But the construction is ongoing, and I can confirm to you that it's not wrong, they are about 31% complete, and they hope to complete everything on time should they get the needed aid.
Now, 31% complete means that it's far off from getting completed. So how are the victims then, who ideally should have been moving into these households, making do with accommodation?
Currently, they are all at the resettlement camp. And like I told you earlier, we went to one of the rooms, or if I can, describe it as a hostel, where these females are being lodged. And they were complaining that their door, leaving their door, they cannot even lock their door. So in the evening, they will just have to pack some clothes at the back of the door so that no one will barge in and maybe do them harm or anything of that sort. But they told me that security is quite on the high at the resettlement side. But they just wish the construction will be completed on time so they can move into the permanent structure.
Well, it's a good thing. We'll get back to you for an update. But Bella, we do have
George Ayesi. He's the Director of Communications for the National Disaster Management Organization, and he joins us via Zoom. Good morning, George. How are you doing?
Good morning, Bella. I'm good.
It's a year after the Appiatse explosion. Can you give us any updates on what has been done so far, and of course how NADMO is also working together with the people to ensure that they are better catered for?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to you, your panel, and your viewers. A year on, looking back, when the explosion happened, There's been a lot of new protocols that have been started. And then the people who were affected, the victims, there's a committee at the grounds that is supporting them. Government is committed to resettling them by building a new place for them. About 120 single bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, up to 7 bedroom houses. As we speak, is about 31% done and is ongoing. From the reports, the remaining percentage, 69%, is likely to be completed sooner than what it took to get to where we are. We are looking at about 1,036 people affected as we speak. About 16 of them are no more with us, and then which affects about 336 households. About 20 are still nursing injuries. About 20 of them are still nursing their injuries. So yes, the team is continuously supporting some of them, and their children are also going to school as we speak. That is the situation of Appiatse as of now.
All right, but at the same time, there's also concerns about some psychological supports that's supposed to be given to these people. And I do know that when it comes to NADMO, of course, before you prevent or after you prevent, you also have to ensure that these people are better catered for. Is there any update on what is being done for these people, especially after we spoke to them and some of them still have not gotten over this situation?
Your voice was down. I could hardly hear you, Bella.
Can you update us on any psychological help that is being given to the victims of the Appiatse explosion? Or the survivors, more like,
yeah,
yes.
The team engaged some of such people. When the incident happened, we had psychologists. Some even contacted me, and some were referred to me, talked to the district chief executive, who happens to be the head of the disaster management committee. And I know they got in touch with them. The president, one Dr. something, Jay, got in touch with me. So we referred to the team, and I believe they took it from there. But I can't give you the details as to the psychological engagement. But they were referred to get in touch with the technical team that was managing the issue.
One of your core mandates is to prevent disasters from happening. I mean, at the moment, what is NADMO doing to ensure that not only in Appiatse, but in all of these other communities, we can avert some of these dangers that may occur?
Yeah, thank you, Bella. I did say from the start that a lot of the protocols have been enhanced. As we speak, NADMO, EPA, and other relevant agencies that are to ensure the safety of the movement of some of those explosives that are used for mining are part of the team. When the mining companies bring these things to the ports, before they are offloaded and put into the vehicle that is going to move, these technical team are there to inspect it. There's a team that is going to escort them from the port to their point of destination. So these protocols are being followed stricto sensu as we speak. And that is a positive enhancement to ensure that we do not suffer some of these explosive incidents again. It's not only in Takoradi, it's being enforced across. NPA is also strictly enforcing some of their protocols as far as discharging of gas and petroleum products are concerned. And that is being done in tandem with the fire service. At Takoradi, the police is also fully involved. All agencies that are to ensure the safety of the transportation of some of these explosives that are used at the mining sites are being strictly enforced.
Are we still providing relief items for survivors within the community?
Not exactly. It's a few that are being supported by the technical committee. Most of the people, because of the numbers now, it's not that much that is being supported. We've moved them. But we support a few of them. That is what the technical committee is in charge of. Not all the 1,036 that were affected that are being supported.
But when you say you support them, in what way?
Yeah, there are medicals, and then some of them, when it comes to the food items, a few of them, not all of them.
So about how many of them?
We are looking at the most vulnerable, with about 20 that are still nesting their injuries and who are still being supported.
About 20
Just
them.
about 20 out of the hundreds.
The others, because of their, situation, the technical committee has not completely abandoned them. Government is supporting them. We are looking at around 500 of them, but it's not like the way when it started, getting reliefs and moving to give them their daily rations and others. That's not how it is.
What's the reason?
I know for a fact I've been supported, but the remaining about 500 of them is not as consistent as it used to be from the get-go.
What's the reason? Are you lacking resources, which is why you're unable to? Because a lot of them have spoken. They're saying that unfortunately they are not able to apply their trade anymore, and so they are at the mercy of donations coming to them.
Yeah, the technical committee is still in place and receiving donations. What is taken at the national level is mainly used for the construction of the buildings that is being put up for them. The mining companies are all supporting, but the district level technical committee is what is to see to their daily day-to-day welfare. Yes, they will still receive support. Government is supporting, but it's not as it used to be. I wouldn't say maybe it's because we're not having enough products. Maybe we'll get further details as to why we are not giving the full support as it was from the beginning.
I see.
All right. Ms. Stacey, this is Cookie. I'm just concerned about women and children, especially in the area. Now, to be able to help these kids get back into school, do you have any updates at all as to if structures have been put in place so that these kids could go back to school, even if they are temporary?
Yeah, Cookie, the kids have been going to school all this while. They've integrated. There's a school, Golden Star School.
Okay.
That is where most of them, in Bogota, most of them are continuing their education. In fact, initially, my understanding was that it was a private school, but now it's been fully taken over by government, and these children are moved to that place for their education. So yes, as far as their education is concerned, nothing has truncated it. They are still going to school every day.
Okay, so this was it Morning Star School you mentioned? Oh, Golden Star School.
Golden,
yes.
Golden Star, Golden.
Okay, so is it JHS, SHS, primary school, kindergarten? Do we know the level?
Yeah, primary and JHS.
Primary and JHS.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's the question I needed to ask you this morning. Thank you very much. But Roland, do you have any other questions?
Oh, I think the critical thing is beyond what NADMO says they are doing is the continuous update to make sure that the victims have relief supplies because their livelihood was linked to the Galamsey activities they were undertaking. So while the psychological support, etc., is ongoing, what about the relief items that they need constantly? If they feel that they are okay, then that would be the question. So, Mr. Isi, do you give them relief supplies constantly?
Relief supply constantly?
Yes, like rice and some of those things.
Oh, no, I told you from the beginning, yes, we were giving reliefs and then donations and co had come in, we supported them. But as we speak, it's not as consistent as it used to be from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I told you about some few people that are still very vulnerable. They are the people that the technical committee are still supporting and helping.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so
We thank you for your time this morning, Mr. George AEC. He is the Communications Director for NADMO. Thank you for your time. Okay, so 20 people who are receiving aid here and there every now and then. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, for me, I think that we seem to be a society where issues of psychological support become very much inadequate. And the good thing for this disaster when it happened was that we had the Ghana Psychiatric Association, but also the Psychological Association. And Dr. Ruth Owusu-Entwi, who is also teaches with the KNUST as well as with the Confanotti Teaching Hospital, was very much instrumental in this. We'll try as much as possible to reach her as well and see whether the association are still continuing such. But the thing is, when such disasters happen elsewhere, do they also move in, or are they marshaled by the authorities to be able to move in? I think that is very integral to the conversation that we're having, and we're hoping that these disasters, when they happen, could also mean that it's a turning point for us to do some relevant conversations on how people need to be protected. There needs to be that level of education and awareness creation prior to the incident that they happen, because we still have a lot more of explosives as well as other inflammable materials that are used in mining that are also still transported. The good thing is we haven't heard of any disasters, but do we have caution ongoing as it should be every day when these transportations are undertaken? I do understand that we...
Yes, Fameye is joining us on Zoom in just a few minutes. But before then, let's take a musical break. And then when we come back, we'll have that conversation with Fameye.